Hey nerds, Aradia here. Today, I want you to light your candles, spread out your cards, because we're talking tarot. Now, a question I get a lot is how to choose your first tarot deck. What should you be looking for? What goes into picking that first right deck? Now, a lot of resources online and people that you may talk to make it seem really overwhelming and complicated, and like if you don't ace this one decision, it's going to ruin the rest of your tarot reading life. And it's not true. Don't think like that. Don't tell people that. Reading tarot should be fun. It should be an experience. It shouldn't be scary and daunting and overwhelming. I have another video that breaks down the top things that I think you should look for in the perfect first tarot deck. Click the card or the description or wherever it goes. But for this video, I want to talk about the things that I love about tarot decks and the things that I don't like so much. And I'm going to use a specific example, the Botanica Tarot from Beehive Books. Now, full disclosure, the deck I'm going to show you guys today was sent to me for free by Beehive Books so that I would talk about it, but everything I'm going to tell you is my own opinion. Beehive Books is a small indie publisher with a commitment to publishing interesting and unique books and art. They have a personal commitment to distinctive work, high production value, and offbeat style. If you like pretty, but also gothic, but also vintage, but also quirky, but also macabre, their style is right up your alley. And honestly, I don't think I can describe them any better than they can themselves, so we like art that's moving, frightening, revelatory, and alive. We like forgotten geniuses and lost works and mysterious tomes. We like things that were pulled out of antiquity and work that seems to materialize from an impossibly distant future. We like books and artwork that crackle and seethe with true, unmistakable magic. How cool does that sound? I'm not lying when I say that this deck had me incredibly excited the first time I saw it. And if you're interested in seeing more of what they have to offer, I'll put their link down in the description. Their website is curated and unique and really interesting, and I really hope you guys go check it out. Now, let's get started talking about this deck and why I think it makes a really great first tarot deck. So when I'm looking at a tarot deck, whether it's for personal use or for the shop, the first thing I really look at is the packaging. What kind of box does it come in? Because to be honest with you, a lot of tarot decks are packaged in really flimsy boxes, and I'm tough on my decks. Whatever decks are in my current rotation come with me everywhere. So they get tossed into my messenger bag or my bag of holding, they get jostled around, there's other notebooks and books and laptops in there, and a regular box usually won't take that kind of punishment. The first thing that really caught my eye about Botanica is the box is super heavy duty. This thing is not going to get destroyed in my bag. Now, does a flimsy box mean that the deck is worthless? No, you can always repackage it in a different box or wrap it up in a cloth or put it in a drawstring bag. The high quality box that your tarot deck comes in means that the people who made that deck are thinking. They're smart. They know that tarot decks are meant to travel and be used. And if something isn't going to stand up to regular use, it's probably not going to stick in my rotation very long. Can I just show you? This is hard to open, which is a good thing. The cards aren't gonna fall out in my bag while I'm running around everywhere. And there's one more thing I wanna show you guys before we actually get to the cards. So let's cut to the table.
Hi, and welcome to the table. This deck is the basic level deck that they offer. There are more expensive tiers that come with more stuff, but even their basic tarot deck comes with swag. So first of all, it comes with this sticker. It says this belongs to. Presumably you're supposed to put it on the box somewhere. I don't know if I would because this box is so pretty, but maybe if you're keeping your tarot deck in a different box, you can use this. It also comes with this gorgeous keychain that doesn't actually have any sort of hook on it, but it's really pretty. And again, it mimics the style of the box in the deck. And it feels pretty heavy duty too. Now I really love these stickers here. There's one for each of the symbols for the suits in the minor arcana, and they're just really pretty. Now all of that would be cool enough, but I think my favorite part of the swag that comes with this deck are these. They're postcards. These are just regular postcards with card art on the back. I think these postcards were a really unique idea, and I love that they were thinking about different ways that you could display the artwork without taking cards out of the deck. The deck has 6 different postcards, and they each have different card art on them, so you can write things on them and mail them to friends, or you can frame them and hang them on your wall so that you always have a representation of the beautiful artwork in this deck. And I think that's pretty cool. If you would like to get one of these postcards for yourself, with a little handwritten note from me, make sure you stay till the end of the video.
Now, one last thing before we actually look at the cards, I promise. I want to talk about the book that the deck comes with a little bit, because this book is informative, but it's not as heavy duty and filled with information as I would usually like from a tarot book. Now, that's not to say that this book is trash, and it's not to say that you can't buy the deck because of it, and some people like a little less information in their guidebooks so that they can use their intuition more. But one of my favorite things about a tarot book is reading the words of the creators and sort of what they were thinking and where they were going when they made the deck. There's not a lot of background in here. It's also really thin paper, which is honestly just a personal preference. Some people might like this because it's lighter and easier to carry. I will say, one of the things I do like about the way the book is structured is that it has just brief keywords for the positive and reverse meanings of each card, but then talks a little bit about the card, couple sentences. But it also makes sure to show you the symbol that's on the card, more about that in a second, and tells you the name of the plant that's on the card, which is super important if the reason you're buying the Botanica deck is for the botanicals. All right, all that junk's out of the way, let's go look at the cards.
I am not lying when I tell you that the first time I looked at these cards, I didn't have words. The art is absolutely mind-blowing. I think the art on these cards are so well done, unique, but also distinctive and just really, really pretty. One thing that I personally really like about the cards, but that some other people I talked to weren't so keen on, is how they have the cards designated. Now, what I mean by that is the cards don't have the names of the cards on them, but they do tell you what the cards are, if you know what you're looking for. This card, for example, is the moon. And the way you know that is because of this symbol right here. This card, for example, is the 6 of coins. They have a very small basic symbol for each card in the deck. And I think that's really unique because there aren't a lot of bulky words and descriptors taking away from the images on the cards. Now, some people I showed the deck to weren't so excited about that method because it does make it a little harder. Another thing that you have to memorize if you don't want to be cracking the book open every time you do a reading. But it does allow more space for your intuition to work because you're not focused on what the card is so much as what the card is telling you. So while for me, that's definitely a bonus, for other people it could be a drawback, and you'll need to make that decision for yourself. Another thing that I think is really great about the cards is how heavy duty they are. This is a really thick edge to a card. Considering most playing cards are probably half that thickness, the fact that these are so thick and sturdy means they're going to hold up and withstand a lot of use, which is why you have cards in the first place, right? Now, one last thing about this deck, and I think this is a really interesting design choice. This deck is sort of like a pip deck, but it's also sort of not a pip deck. And here's what I mean. A pip deck is a deck where only the major arcana and the court cards are illustrated. The 1 through 10 in the minor arcana are just numerical representations of the suit. So the 5 of cups would only have 5 cups on the card. A fully illustrated deck is more like the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, where each card has a full illustrated scene that maybe incorporates the number of the suit representation, but that's not the focus in the card. Now, these cards are not fully illustrated in the sense that there's not a full scene going on here with characters and situations and stuff happening. They're just pictures of plants. But they do have it a little pip style, where there are the numerical representations of the suits. I think this is a really interesting design choice for a couple of reasons. One, it bridges that gap. So if this is your first tarot deck ever, you have a little bit of experience with a pip deck and a little bit of experience with an illustrated deck, because it kind of does both. But the other reason why I think it's a really good choice is because it allows your intuition to really open up and receive what the card is trying to tell you. There are no fully detailed images here clearly laying out what this card is supposed to mean. But there are visual clues in the style of how they draw the plants. You can really tell in the colors and the layout and the details from the plants that they use where the themes are with this card, what it's supposed to be telling you. Overall, I think it's a really interesting combination of methods of designing a tarot deck that they sort of skirted the line of both of them in a way, but it makes it a really interesting deck to work with and to compare to other decks. And as a beginner deck, I think it really does give you the best of both worlds.
Now, I really enjoy this deck. I think it's visually stunning, and art style and aesthetic is really important when choosing a tarot deck, because if you don't like looking at it, you're not going to read it. Now, if there's one last drawback I can think of, honestly, it's the size of the deck. It's pretty big, and in my hands, it's okay, but it could be a little clumsy when trying to shuffle if you have smaller or less muscular hands than me. This deck was maybe a little bit skinnier or a little bit shorter, I think it would honestly fit in the hand perfectly, and it would go from a drawback to a definite plus. But beyond that, I can really see where a lot of their choices and deviations from traditional tarot style came from. They really thought about what makes a really good tarot deck when they were creating this deck, and I recognize that, and I can really appreciate it. At the end of the day, I think this is a really solid tarot deck, both from an artistic standpoint and for a beginner deck. Is it the best deck I've ever seen? Well, no. And is it my favorite deck? Also no. But it's gorgeous, it's really mindfully created, and it has earned a spot in my regular rotation, so that's saying something. If any of you are drawn to this card art and you have a chance to get this deck and work with it, I would definitely suggest it. Like I said, there are a lot of mindful choices in creating this deck that make it a really solid beginner tarot deck, but also has a place in someone who's been reading for a lot longer like I have. So if you're interested, make sure to check out Beehive Books. Link is down in the description, and tell them Aradia sent you. Now Aradia, how do I go about getting one of those cool postcards you showed us earlier in the video? I am so glad you asked. I have 6 postcards from the Botanica deck to give away to you guys. I'm going to choose 6 people at random to receive one of these postcards with a handwritten note from me. All you have to do is make sure that you're subscribed to this channel and leave a comment down below telling me what your favorite part of this deck is. I'll be sending out postcards on June 30th, so make sure you get this in before then. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed the deck as much as I did. If you want to see more review videos and me talking about different decks and tools and equipment, let me know. I got a lot of stuff to talk about. Make sure to check out the description for more ways that you can see me online. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so that you can see more videos like this, and hit that bell so that you get notifications every time I post a new video. You know how YouTube works. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and remember, you make your own magic.